Good morning, Savva'S here from Football Heritage TV. So a transfer window that promised so much. There was hope. There was optimism. We knew what we needed to do. We knew we needed centre-halves. We knew we'd conceded 63 Premier League goals last year. We knew Harry Kane had gone. We knew we had to replace him with something, with someone, with a striker. We knew we needed depth. We knew we had a manager that had come in and that plays great football. But we need someone to finish off the goals. Did Spurs deliver on this transfer window? All the talk today will be, out of 10, what would you give it? Did we win the transfer window? Let's get into it and more. I feel like we're just a tiny bit short. Let's get into it. Yes, good morning. Apologies for the attire. I am off to a wedding today. So unfortunately, I am going to miss the Spurs versus Burnley game, all the Premier League action, and there will be no live watch along. Apologies, but we will be back tomorrow for the Spurs review. So the Spurs window, a number of signings came through the door, but did it satisfy fans? Already today, plus obviously being a YouTube figure, I see all the time that there is divide in the fan base yet again. You have those fans that have seen it before many times that are questioning the signings. Then you've got other fans that are going on to Spurs official and calling out YouTubers for questioning certain signings. First of all, grow up. Second of all, it's okay sticking your head in the sand. But did Spurs do what we needed to do? Let's break it down. Last season was a disaster. Last season, we couldn't defend. We had one of the best defensive managers in world football and couldn't defend. We conceded 63 goals. And everyone this summer said, you've got to sort that back line out. You've got to sort that back line out. Did we do enough to sort that back line out? Now, we won't talk about him today, but obviously Udogie came back from his loan with Udinese. And then you brought in Mickey van der Ven. After that, everything stopped defender-wise, which is really strange. We'll get into that in a minute. But first things first, let's look at the signings we did make. Now, these are the signings without Porro and Kulusevski, who were at the club last year. So you can see here, I think you can see from this screen, and this is on the official Spurs Twitter page. Spurs started this window by bringing in James Maddison and Vicario. Now, Vicario, a good keeper. I think he's had a lot of critics. I don't know why. I think a lot of the problem with signing Vicario from his point of view and from the fans' point of view was purely that he's not David Raya. And for the weeks leading up to Vicario signing, everyone had their mind set on David Raya. Then it didn't happen. We didn't meet the 40 million valuation. By the way, no one met the 40 million valuation. Then we signed Vicario straight away. Again, I get it. Straight away, people questioning, can he catch? Look at these highlight reels. What's going on? Other people saying, well, hang on. Buffon has said this about him. He's a great signing. So Vicario, for me, I think is a good signing. I don't think it's underwhelming. I don't think it's overwhelming. I just think it's a steady signing. And hopefully, he'll be our goalkeeper for a number of years to come. But again, you can understand some of the skepticism around that signing. Now, we go to Manor Solomon. I'm not doing this in order, by the way. When we go to Manor Solomon, this is a very interesting signing. This is a guy that had a run of 5 or 6 games last year playing for Fulham, where he scored 4 or 5 games in a row, right? And everyone was like, oh my God, who's this guy? And he's available on a free because of the war and all the problems in the Ukraine. Daniel Levy jumped on it. We got him on a free, and he can play right wing or left wing. However, the problem you've got now is he seems to be our third choice left winger already, behind Son, who's captain, behind Perisic, who's the best crosser of a ball at the club. And then on the right-hand side, he appears that he would now be the third choice right winger behind Kulu and Brennan Johnson. Obviously, we'll get to Brennan Johnson in a minute. So then it begs the question, why was he bought? We'll find out as the months play out. Obviously, you need squad depth, but it seems a bit of a strange one. I don't mind Solomon. I think he looks tricky on the ball, but so far he's only been given one start, which was in the League Cup. And I think very much we'll see that he'll be given bit part minutes. So that's one to watch. A steady signing. Okay. Then we look at Ashley Phillips and Alaho Valise. Now, I'll put these two together because for me, as far as I can see, and I could be wrong, I don't think either of these two are going to have an impact, certainly this side of the year. So for the rest of 2023, I don't think we're going to see much of Valise. I don't think we're going to see much of Ashley Phillips. These two very much scream obviously young players for the future. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. If you're going to do that, though, you've got to make sure that behind that, or in front of that, sorry, that you've got the right players in. And we'll get to that when talking about centre-halves in a minute. It's all well and good bringing Ashley Phillips, who, from his compilation, looks like he could be a very good young player that becomes a top centre-back in years to come. But did we do enough in front of him? Is Ashley Phillips now our third choice, our fourth choice, our fifth choice? Should he be our third choice behind Van der Ven and Romero? We'll look at that in a minute. Valise, young striker, scored goals in Argentina. I think we've already seen Postecoglou come out and say that we're not going to see a lot of him at the moment, right? I think we all understand that. So that's one to watch. So those two good young players for the future, but nothing to get excited about now. And I don't really count them as, oh my God, look what they're going to contribute. Then we move to the three big ones of the summer, so to speak. Let's start with James Maddison. For me, the best signing of the bunch. James Maddison, 40 million. Levy would love it because he was in his last year of his contract. His club had just got relegated. But James Maddison is a guy that I personally had wanted since, I don't know, 2016, 17, whenever he was at Aberdeen and Coventry. Really, really good player. Technically brilliant. Great footwork. He scores. He assists. He's our vice captain. For me, this is the standout signing of the summer. This is who I think we were crying out for the last 4 or 5 years since Christian Eriksen left. So for me, top work, Spurs. Great signing. Love James Maddison. Got to keep that guy in the team at all costs. There's no coincidence that the other night he was dropped from or rested from the team. We created nothing. The moment he came on, things start to tick. That guy has to play every single minute of every single game. I'm not one of these that thinks he should be rotated with Lo Celso. This guy has to play. He is top draw. Love James Maddison. Now we move to another player. This, for me, was our second best signing of the window. Mickey van der Ven, 22. So he's still young. He's still growing. But this lad, you can see talent in abundance. You can see an abundance of talent pouring out from everywhere. He's strong. He's rapidly quick. He's good on the ball. He can bring it out. And more importantly, up there, you can see he reads danger very well, which is a lovely trait in a centre-back. It took forever to get done, but I'm really glad we did. I was a very big advocate of bringing in Mickey van der Ven. If I'm right or wrong in any of these signings, I'll happily say it in a year's time or whatever it will be. But I think this guy is going to be a club legend, and hopefully the partnership that he can grow. I've just done a video on this on my YouTube Shorts. The partnership he can grow with Romero, fingers crossed, touch wood, whatever you want to say, I think is going to be instrumental to how we play moving forward. But I'm going to caveat this. Those two have to stay fit and play every game of the season. The moment you don't is the moment you realise that we didn't do what we needed in the window. And we'll get to that a bit later. But two massive positives there. Vicario positive. Solomon, we don't know. The other two are kids. Then we move to Brennan Johnson. Now, I've been sceptical. I think would be fair to say I've been sceptical about the signing of Brennan Johnson. 23 years of age, 22 years of age. For me, I've not seen anything that makes me excited yet. But like any player that signs for Tottenham Hotspur, I now get behind this guy and I hope he massively hits that ground running. I'm sceptical of, is he just a pace merchant? Or, or is he a tricky winger that has more strings to his bow than pace? Now, at the moment, I've not seen that other than the pace, but that doesn't mean he hasn't got it. I cannot be contradictory. I am a fan that believes that sometimes the manager you play for can dictate the way you play. So, for example, Nottingham Forest play very much in transition with Brennan Johnson playing on the break, using his pace to counter from his own half. I don't think that's going to be the case at Tottenham Hotspur. As Spurs under Postecoglou, we play very much camped in the other team's half with a lot of the ball. So he's going to have less space to run into. So now we're going to see what is he made of. 47 million, big money. But I fully back Ange's decision. He's bought him. But what I will say is you're allowed to question signings. You're allowed to question. You're allowed to be proved wrong. You're allowed to wait and see how things go. I've got people, I'll just bring this up because I know Dave, the Irish Hotspur, will bring this up on his video as well, that there's a fan going around putting on Spurs official page that Dave and I hate Brennan Johnson and don't want him to do well. This is false. This is not true. We've never said we hate Brennan Johnson. I believe, having spoken to Dave on WhatsApp this morning, what we've actually both said is it a tiny bit underwhelming? Yes, but only in our opinion, right? In our opinion. Do we want him to do well? Of course we do. He's a Tottenham Hotspur player. I want the guy to come in and score 35, 40, 50, 60 goals this season. But we'll see. So best of luck to Brennan Johnson. He's now a Spurs player. We fully get behind him. Let's hope he gets in there. But will he go straight in the team? Why did we sign Kulusevski if Brennan Johnson was the skill set you wanted? So these are just questions that I'm looking forward to seeing being answered by Postecoglou and the way he plays football in the coming months. But time is needed, as with any player. I always bang on about this. Time and consistency. This guy is still youngish, fairly young, even though he's played in the Premier League. He's an international footballer of experience. What we can't say after 5 to 10 games is he's been an overwhelming success or an overwhelming failure. We give him the season, settle in. How's he going to get on? But at 47 million, there will be some expectations on him to hit the ground running. So for me, I think it's been a steady window. I think great signings in Van der Ven and Maddison, good signings in Vicario and Brennan Johnson, and then you go to the younger signings. What will they bring? But the question is this: did we do enough? Did we bring in the centre-backs that we need for the moment that Van der Ven or Romero, touch wood they don't, fingers crossed they don't, the moment one of them gets injured? The moment one of them gets injured, we're then going to see if we messed up in the transfer window. I'm not being negative. This is basics. If you lose one of them, you are back to one of the centre-halves that helped concede 63 goals last year. If Van der Ven gets injured, you're now back to Romero and Sanchez or Romero and Dyer, the defenders that conceded 63 goals last year. So, touch wood that they do not get injured, because otherwise I think we're going to regret it. All in all, I think it's been an okay window. I think the reason I don't put it past okay is I see a lot of people going, oh, it's an 8 out of 10, a 9 out of 10. All the deadwood is still here. Lloris is still here. Sanchez still here. Dyer, Ndombele, Højbjerg, Sessegnon, Brian Hill. Even some of the other deadwood has gone out on loan. So we're kicking the can down the road. So for me, a decent window, a good window to a degree. But let's wait and see. Patience. Consistency needed, patience. What I will say is this. Other than playing staff, the best signing of this summer is Postecoglou. I got a lot of hate the other day for questioning him making 9 changes. But I was one of the ones championing joining from Celtic. I like Postecoglou. I love Postecoglou. I think he's a fantastic man manager. And I think he will prove to be Tottenham Hotspur's best signing of the summer. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you make of the signings. The window's closed. We can all breathe a sigh of relief. And I'll have another video out later on today about Burnley and Tottenham Hotspur today. By the way, spoiler, I do believe it will be 3-1 to Spurs because the best 11 will be playing. Much love. Please like, please subscribe. And for live streams, I'll be back tomorrow morning for more chat about Tottenham Hotspur. I'm off to a wedding. Enjoy. And as always, come on, you Spurs.